Hello children and welcome to English class, and I am your English teacher. I hope you are all fit and fine at home. Yesterday we had been reading the poem An Elementary School Classroom in a Slum from the book Flamingo, and today we will continue with the same poem since there was some inconvenience caused. I wish that it should not be repeated. Today we will reread the poem and we will try to understand the summary. An Elementary School Classroom in a Slum, written by Stephen Spender. Before we start the poem, let's take a short glance about the poet. Stephen Spender, born in 1909 till 1995, was an English poet and an essayist. He left University College, Oxford, with taking a degree and went to Berlin in 1930. Spender took keen interest in politics and declared himself to be a socialist and pacifist. Books by Stephen Spender includes Poems of Dedication, The Edge of Being, The Creative Element, The Struggle of the Modern, and an autobiography. Word within word. In an elementary classroom in a slum, he has concentrated on themes of social injustice and class inequalities. So he had used basically two themes. One is social injustice and he also talked about class inequality. So here in an elementary school classroom in a slum. In elementary school classroom in a slum by Stephen Spender. We are completing this poem. So it is based on two themes. The first theme is social injustice and second is class inequality. Keeping this view in mind, we will continue our poem. So let's read the poem. It is about far, far from gusty waves, these children's faces, like rootless weeds, and the hair toned round their pallor, the tall girl with her way down head, the paper-seeming boy with rat's eyes, the stunted, unlucky hair of twisted bones, reciting a father's gnarled disease, his lesson from his desk. At back of dim class, one unnoted, sweet and young, his eyes live in a dream of squirrel's game. In tree room other than this. On sour cream walls, donation, Shakespeare's head, cloudless at dawn, tryless valley. One open-handed map awarding the word its word. And yet, for these children, these windows, not this map, their world, where all their futures painted with a fog. A narrow street sealed with a lead sky, far, far from river, caves and stars of words. Surely, Shakespeare is wicked, the map a bad example, with ships and sun and love tempting them to steal for lives that slyly turn in their cramped holes from fog to endless night. On their slag heap, these children wear skins peep through their by bones and spectacles of steel with mended glass, like bottle bits on stones. All their time and space are foggy slum. So blot their map with slums as big as doom, unless governor, inspector, visitors, this map becomes their window, and these windows that shut upon their lives like catacomb. Break, oh break till break the town and show the children to green fields and make their worlds run azure on gold sands. And let their tongue run naked into books with white and green leaves open, history there whose language is the sun. Very interesting lines and phrases has been used by the poet in this poem to simplify the things for the readers. Let's start with the very first paragraph of this poem. Later on, after completing the summary, we will discuss about the poetic devices used in it and some word meanings. Far, far from gusty waves, these children's faces. Like these children's faces means the happiness of these children's faces are so much far away from their liberty. Like the children, the gusty wave is always free to flow here and there and everywhere. In the same manner, these children's faces, the smile, the liberty of these children's faces are so far away, like those of gusty waves. They have no options to. Like rootless weed, their hair toned round their pallor. So here the poet is also comparing these children with the rootless weeds. It means nobody cares about them, nobody feels that they are important at all in the fields. The weed is not important. In the same manner, these children makes no worth to the society where there is social injustice. And people measure people by class inequality. So there is class inequality and nobody cares about these children living in the slum. So he is compared like rootless wheat. These children have been compared like rootless wheat. The hair torn round their pallor. Pallor means with their white faces, with their pale color due to illness or due to malnutrition. Their faces looks pale and the hairs are lying on their faces. These hairs are unkempt, uncombed. Hairs fall on their pallor, on their illness or white faces. The tall girl with her way down head. Now, in the first paragraph, the poet is talking about the children sitting in the classroom. How do they look like? So, he starts with very first girl. She is the tall girl. The poet is saying about a tall girl with a way down head. So, the girl is sitting with bowed head in the classroom. Her head is bowed down because she feels burden of the society. The paper sealing boy with rat's eyes. There is another boy sitting in the class who is very thin, so weak, and his eyes are like that of rat. The rat has innocent eyes, so that child is also having innocent eyes, but that child is so thin, so weak. The stunted, unlucky hair of twisted bones. So the poet calls them the stunted, like abnormal or malnutrition or undeveloped. Okay, so the main meaning is abnormal or undeveloped. So they are the stunted, unlucky hair, the abnormal, unlucky hair of twisted bones. So there is another boy sitting with the twisted bone in the classroom who has, the poet calls him underdeveloped, unlucky hair, means honor. Why he calls it? Because that child is reciting his father's gnarl disease, the disease which he has got from his father, the twisted or the diseases which he has got from his father, that child is repeating. His lesson, the boy with the twisted bone who got this all abnormal growth from his father is reciting a lesson in his classroom from his desk. He is sitting at his desk and reciting the lesson. At back of dim class, one unnoted, sweet and young. So there is another boy sitting in the classroom at the back or at the dim class, at the low or dingy class. There is a boy who is unnoticed by anyone. What the child look like? The child looks sweet and he looks young. And what is there? His eyes live in a dream of squirrel's game in tree room other than this. So that child is dreaming. That child who is unnoted, sweet and young is dreaming of a squirrel's game on a tree room. So that child is running in his own imagination to be free. So it has two meanings here. One, the child is dreaming of a game, of a squirrel's game. On the other hand, it has contrast because that also suggests the idea like that child wants to lead a free life. So he is dreaming of that liberty like that of squirrel. Next paragraph. On sour cream walls, donations. Shakespeare's head, cloudless at dawn, civilized dome, writing all cities. Now, on sour cream walls, there are the color of the classroom is of sour cream color, and that those walls have been painted with the money given in donations. Now, in the second paragraph, the poet is talking about what are the things there in the classrooms. In that classroom, there are basically 4 things he has defined. Let's read and understand. Shakespeare's head. There is one photo of Shakespeare, who is known to be a father of literature of English. So there is a photo of Shakespeare. Cloudless at dawn, civilized domes riding all cities. There is a photograph of cloudless. Cloudless, it means a sky blue sky with a huge city photographs, huge city printed on those on that page or on that scenery. Sitting or civilized dome riding all cities. So there are pictures of lots and lots of buildings, high buildings with the sky blue picture of the sky blue sky overhead, and the pictures of building 1 and on. It shows the civilization. So that picture is also pasted in the classroom. Now another thing, there is also a poster of Tyreless Valley where it has the photo. This Tyreless Valley has belt and flowery. It has been greenery, green. It is all green with small mountains, and it has some belt-shaped flowers in it. So that scenery is also there in the class. Now there is another thing, is one open-handed map awarding the words its worth. There is a map of there is a word map that is hanging in one of the walls of the classroom, and it shows the world, how this world look like. And yet for these children, these windows not this map their world. And there is one window in the classroom which is just showing them their future, which is foggy. It doesn't, this window, the poet says this window doesn't give any hope to these children, because these windows also open in the slums. It doesn't give them any hope for a better future. That is why it says, children, these windows not this map their world. And the map which is hanging in the classroom is also give them hopelessness, where all their futures painted with fog. It's because their future is totally painted in the fog. Their entire life cycle, or their future is painted in the fog. Means it's all dhundla. It's all having we can say opaque, right? A narrow street sealed in with lead sky. Now, and far, far from river, capes and stars over the map, the narrow street. So where these windows open and and it shows the foggy future of these children, it opens to the narrow street sealed with lead sky. And if we see the scenery, if we see out of that window, what else we can see is the narrow streets, very congested streets, which is sealed with lead sky. Lead sky means grey sky, means their future is all dark. Their future is in foggy, their future is dark. So the sky looks to be dark with the lead sky. Lead here is used for dark and dull sky. So the sky is all full of darkness or full of grey. There is no happiness, right? So dark sky basically symbolizes that it is very tough time for them. It means they do not have any hope. Okay, and the fog is also showing hopelessness. So both things are compared together. And their approach is far away from rivers. They cannot accessible to the rivers given in the pictures which is hanging in the classroom, and they are away from those capes, and they are also away from stars of words. Here star of word has been used for education. Star of words. Star of words. It is used for education, means they are far away, not only from their freedom, but they are far away from their education, which is their right. And I hope these 2 paragraphs are enough for today, because you need to reread this one more time it will help you to come with more and more points, because this is one of the important points which you are going to do, and this is important point, and some of the extract definitely comes in the board examinations also. And I wish you all the best. I have made short video for your reference, because I want to start with these two paragraphs. If you are able to understand these two paragraphs, you need to watch this video 1 or 2 times, only then you will be able to understand. And then we will move to next two paragraphs of this poem. Till then, take care of yourself, take healthy diet, take care of your family members. Thank you. Have a nice day. Do read your poem one more time. Thank you. Have a nice day.